And welcome back to the Weekly Tech Rant with me, Jay.
And me, Karl.
And episode 243. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
And it's
Is it
been
242?
No, it's 242. It was the last episode.
Oh, it was. My notes are wrong.
Yeah, you can't count. I thought
I can't count.
I know my maths is terrible, but now you're showing yourself up. Yes, we're back after a couple of weeks off, thanks to the Easter holidays and break. I was in another country in the land of the US of A, over in Texas. Boy, it's a big country, and I was enjoying
a
good
Lone Star State.
Yes, the Lone Star State, and like I said, enjoying good barbecue whilst I was there. I was introduced to Rudy's, RUDYS, which is like a roadside barbecue place, a bit of a chain,
Yep.
But doesn't have a problem. It was good, real good, fantastic.
Okay, nice. We do like a bit of barbecue,
and it's simply served. Picnic tables, indoors and out. You get all your food in like a plastic basket, like crate thing. They give you greaseproof paper to eat it off. It's good. Good stuff.
Good honest food.
Absolutely. So whilst we've been away then, well, there's been quite a few things. I guess one of the big things that's happened in the last couple of weeks is the announcement, if you want to call it that, of Project Glasswing, which is around this new coalition of cybersecurity companies and Anthropic to test out and work on their new frontier language model, which was called Mythos Preview, which they said would reshape cybersecurity. That was Anthropic's quote. So it is an invite-only group. There are about 40 organizations said that. If you name any of the top cybersecurity companies, they're in there, aren't they? All the big players, as you'd imagine.
Yep.
And it's been quite an interesting week, hasn't it, in terms of what has come out around Glasswing. More importantly, what Mythos has been running and finding out in the world. And there's been quite a bit of pushback as well, isn't there, from some of the cybersecurity sort of I don't want to say critics, I want to say analysts, voices in the industry, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's big claims behind this. The fact that you can just point at stuff and it will find all these bugs. They find was it a 27-year-old one in BSD kernel or something like those lines, which is great. But some of the analysts have kind of pointed out that, it sounds great, but is it? I mean, what's the incentive for people to go and find this? Is it an actual vulnerability they can realistically exploit? Because I think Marcus Hutchins was saying, wasn't he, about the BSD one, is that, one, how much money do they throw at it? And BSD is an open source project, isn't it? They don't do bug bounties like some of the other ones do. So where's the financial incentive for someone to go and find it? So it's not that Mythos was so good it found a bug that no one else did. They found a bug that probably no one else was looking for.
That's it. And Mythos has been gone out there and it has found pretty much vulnerabilities and bugs in pretty much every known major operating system.
Yeah.
I think pretty much every known browser. A lot of software that they're not disclosing, but a lot of key software, popular software applications as well. But to your point, you're right. It's not with some of these. It's not the fact that nobody's gone. Well, we weren't looking for it because, like with BSD, who's going to be looking for that in the kernel? But the reality is that if you discover it, yes, you could use that as a vulnerability. You could chain that with other things to create a decent exploit. And the other question that some people were saying was that this comes down to cost. People have to, if you're a human, you have to focus your energy, don't you, in certain areas. And with this, they were burning through $20,000 of tokens to find.
Yeah, they've been a bit vague about how much things have actually cost to find, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think we look at it twofold. This is where things are heading, right? And
100%.
The fact that Anthropic have pulled together Glasswing with all these vendors is key because they don't want to let this loose in the wild because it could be dangerous. Let's be realistic about it. It could be dangerous.
Of course, I mean you could use it as an attacker to go and find a vulnerability and then build a proof of concept exploit and weaponize it.
Yeah,
all without really doing anything.
No, and Anthropic released they released the model card for this, by the way, and they basically said that they're not going to be releasing Mythos. The whole point here was kind of a proof of concept to do that. And what they see at the minute, they think the risks with Mythos are quite low, but they see they see a lot of warning signs here. And if these capabilities continue to rapidly advance, Anthropic themselves think that this is the starting point for AGI. So they don't believe this is AGI, but they think that this is the road to AGI. And Mythos is quite a significant step up from the Opus 4.6 model was the current release model. We're on 4.7 now, as of, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And if you look at the way that Anthropic's ECI, which is the way they measure it, goes it's kind of incremental. It's kind of a linear pathway, but they get to 4.6, and then it kind of sharply jumps upwards when they get to Mythos. So you and I are never going to play with Mythos, but I think some of the
I'm guessing this isn't going to run on your Pro or Max plan then, no? Or maybe for about 2 seconds before you eat all your tokens.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think this could be a publicity stunt. Not that it doesn't work, but it's kind of creating the problem to solve it.
Yeah.
And there have been some voices in the industry. Marcus Hutchins, particularly one, has come out not in defense and not in attack. He's been quite upfront,
quite a realist,
realist about it. We've had other engineers say that there's a lot of questions, that pour doubt on it. Anthropic has also got a history of being a doom mongering about their models. They've been quite they're quite dire about some of the things here. But this is early. I think what we're seeing here, this is early. It's enough though that there are news articles that were on the BBC this morning, in the UK at least, saying that major financial institutions in Europe, their heads have been meeting to discuss the concerns that Mythos has raised. Finance ministers, bankers, and financiers are concerns around that they feel can undermine the security of financial systems. So this is just one. Tomorrow, OpenAI could release their latest model, or a similar project they could announce, couldn't they?
Yeah.
With players. This is not new. This is everybody's going to be doing this. The Chinese AI companies, DeepMind and others, they could release models or have it. Mistral, the other, the European one. I think Claude are getting ahead of the game here. I think they're trying to create some reputational protection by bringing together key players in the industry, rather than going, we've created this AI model. By the way,
fill your boots.
Or the other question is, all of you cybersecurity companies, you've just gone out of business, by the way, because this thing kicks your ass. I don't think that's I think they'd rather work with the cyber industry to allow them to train it more effectively. And if you work with a CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, or if you work with an AWS, or a Microsoft or Nvidia, you're gonna get much better testing than you are in your own echo bubble, aren't you? A glass bubble in echo.
Massively. Yeah, the amount of data those companies hold on cybersecurity and stuff like that, and
absolutely,
the way things really work, is invaluable.
But it has got a lot of big financial institutions very, very scared, I think. And the worry now is that if somebody else releases a model with the same capabilities, but without the safeguards, because remember, that's the key question here. This is a safeguard. This is a governance exercise here. But if you drop another model, and say that you can access it on the enterprise or pro plan or whatever you want to call it, criminals have got deep pockets, haven't they? Certainly will find the money. Let's be honest, to play with it. So, I think I'm not going to say to you here, wow, this is game changer. We're on an inflection point. No, I think this is the natural evolution of where this is going.
And like most people, all we can do is speculate here. We haven't played with it. Nope. I mean, I'd love to, but the chance of that happening are probably zero.
No, absolutely. Look, you and I have been transparency. You and I have been playing a lot with Claude recently, haven't we? Both of us playing with code and co-work, could get that word out, and building applications. And this morning I built myself a note-taking application because I've been so fed up with all the different apps. I couldn't get one to fun, so I decided to build all the functions and capability I like into one app. It's taken me 4 hours, I guess, across the day, coming back and forth between meetings and that. And this afternoon I've rolled in AI capability into it, so I can talk to my note-taking app and dictate the notes or the to-do list that I want to create.
Are you still on Max, or is yours run out?
No, I'm nearly to the end of it. It's about to step down a couple of days. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I've got a couple of pro accounts, but they're eating through tokens like no one's business.
Yeah, I was just saying my bounced off the end of my current session. I'm waiting for the session reset.
So you've burnt through a whole Mac session. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not had much chance to play with the new 4.7 that's out. Sort of, was it last night? It dropped. But you did this in Opus 4.7, I presume.
Let me just go check. Bear with me. Whole caller. Yeah. This was all built on 4.7.
Okay, so yeah, I need to do some. I've not done any coding with 4.7 yet, so I need to give it a go. But I'm traveling next week, so I might have to wait a little bit before I can have a proper play.
It's great. I mean, I'm not noticing. I mean, it's giving me a really clear answer. So I started off with a chat before I went into co-work. I wanted to have a chat with Claude, so I talked about what I wanted to create, and it was like, yeah. So it went off and it built a whole stack of stuff for me, and then it built. And then I said, right, well, I want to move into code. It said, okay, download this zip file because obviously it's different sessions, isn't it? So download the zip file, and it created the prompt, and I copied that into co-work, and then it started again. But it didn't need to think about what it wanted. It was like full instruction set, really,
that's what I need to do. I've got a plan, but it's a big change to the system I'm working on, so I need to plan this out properly.
And the other thing was really interesting was when I started the conversation with it. So I said, look, I've got this idea. This is what I want to do. What was really interesting was Claude's context about you and what you're doing with Claude was quite impressive. So obviously it knows about the conversations we've had. It knows.
Well, I presume you've got the memory feature enabled.
Yeah, I've got memory turn. That's what I should say.
Yeah, I hadn't. I wasn't entirely sure if that's going to start eating yet more tokens. I could afford more tokens.
I mean,
and my projects are quite separate. I'm only using it for coding, so I didn't think I needed it.
Well, it is handy because it came out and it said to me, by the way, this is great, but you're doing all of this stuff. It's like, are you sure you've got time?
Whoa there, boy.
It was like, I think you should, well, let's talk about time management. It's like, whoa. It's like, holy hell.
I could build you an app for that.
But it was like, it wasn't telling me don't do it, but it was like, just so you're aware. And I was trying to explain AI to my wife earlier and talk around, what it is, and she still doesn't get it. And I was kind of like, it's the best personal assistant you've ever had. And I just, I said, once you get your head around it, it's a game changer. It really is. And it is become an invaluable part of my daily work. It's an app I run all day long, obviously till I run out of tokens. But I mean, I used it earlier for some personal stuff that I was using to help me create a report from a load of notes that I had. And again, I'm using a lot of dictation these days, so I just talk to it, read off my notes, copy stuff in, and it just really helps create really well structured, cohesive, reports and stuff like that. But also then I was like, look, that doesn't read very well. How do you think we can improve this to be more effective, or assertive? And it's like, well, you change this, and then it was like, well, who are you talking to? So it was asking me questions, It was a two-way conversation, So yeah, look, we could go down a whole rabbit hole, but I think things are moving at a pace again that is hard to hold on to. And these are things we'll come back to, and as more information comes out about Mythos and Project Glasswing, we'll share it with you. But at the moment, it's definitely interesting. I have written a blog post on it, by the way, just self-promotion.
As I said, and I think you've heard many times, I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to the AI. I mean, how many times have I tried it and just given up completely because it just won't do what I want to do satisfactorily? And it's quicker for me to do it myself than it is to. But I must say, with Opus 4.6, it's got to a point now that I'm trusting it a bit more and using it a bit more. It still makes some giant mistakes when I'm like, sorry, I didn't tell you to do that. But it's getting better.
Well, as I say, I mean, I've seen the work you've been doing, and work, and it's really quite impressive bit of stuff that you've done with it. And I know, talking to you about the app you're building, that I'm not hearing as many of the complaints. Should we say?
No, it has got actually better. I've been dipping in and out every 3 or 4 months, and just could not really get anything satisfactory out of it for my needs. And everyone's needs change, but for my needs, it just wasn't working. But now it's got to that point where it is starting to work the way I want to. It's still not passing the book me a snowboarding holiday trip with these particular parameters, but it's getting better. It pointed me in the right direction, so it's starting to get better.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. Let's hopefully buy what we're on Opus 4.7 now. Maybe by Opus 5. It'll be
5. Well, I'll be a big convert. I'll be paying for Macs.
Yeah, Christ, did you get a promotion?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Awesome. All right, let's get back on track there. So let's talk about the first story of the week, which is Xbox Game Pass. And Xbox himself, or I should say the boss of Xbox,
the new boss,
gaming, a new boss, Asher Sharma, has acknowledged that it has become way too expensive. And do you know what?
Yeah.
I am 100% behind her on this one.
As a man, I can't remember. I've got 3 or 4 Xbox Game Passes subscriptions going on because I have many kids who all have consoles. It's getting pricey. I mean, I look for deals and I buy 3 or 6 months in vouchers, usually at a discount, and do it that way. But yeah, it has got pricey, hasn't it? But yeah, as you mentioned.
Yes, I think that's definitely the word I'd be using. I mean,
pricey. I mean, it's had 2 price jumps in the last year and a bit.
Yeah, we're at the moment we're playing what, £30 a month, isn't it? Yeah, 20 or no, 20 something.
20 something for Ultimate. I've got an Ultimate. Yeah. I've got several of the is it Premium, which was the new tier that was a bit cut down from Ultimate, but still worked on PC and Xbox. So I've got a couple of those floating around as well.
I'll say it again, right? People like your situation, why are they not bringing in the family plans? Because
I love a family plan, like I do for Office. I pay more, but I get 6 accounts. Perfect. Absolutely.
So why are they not bringing in the family? I don't understand. It would. They'd get far more.
They trialed it. They trialed it, and then it just stopped.
Yeah.
And they decided instead they were just going to add a load of crap that I didn't need. But you know, like getting Ultimate now? You get all the Fortnite stuff. I'm like, I don't play Fortnite. Why am I paying for this? Give me an option not to pay for that.
Yeah, I want cloud gaming. I want PC gaming.
I don't even want cloud gaming. Can I cut that out and save some money as well?
Maybe, but but what I'm saying, if I'm getting Ultimate, I expect to get cloud gaming, PC and Xbox, and I want synergy across the board, basically. Yeah. But like you, family plan, I'd buy a family plan because my kids want to play it, but they want to do cloud gaming because they haven't got Xboxes. They want to do on the iPad or whatever on TV. So I've got no problem. But I'm not. So at the moment, I refuse to buy Game Passes. I think I did in the summer holidays. I bought them both which was the whatever was the basic one to get cloud gaming. I bought one of them that. But I don't. It is a trap because you and I are paying for it, but we're also paying for it because we want the day one releases of certain games, aren't we?
Yeah.
And
yes,
something is not right here. The math isn't adding up.
No, exactly. I understand they've got to pay for God, who did they buy? Activision Blizzard. 70 billion, wasn't it? I understand that one, but still, it's a lot of money. But
they are getting though. They've admitted they've got a 50% drop in subscribers. Sorry. Since the prices went up last year over 50%, they've had a noticeable drop in subscribers in the last year. Well, that tells you something. People are voting with their wallets, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's also talk, isn't there, of doing one with Netflix subscription bundled in. I don't want more stuff bundled in. It's just going to make it more expensive.
No, it would be good to have. Do you know what would be really good? I know it's probably too much work, but a pick and mix. What do you want? Yeah. I want X, Y, and Z.
Do I want day one releases for Microsoft, their own first party ones? Do I want day one releases for third party or whatever? They do that, don't they? Do I want cloud gaming? Do I want the Fortnite stuff? Do I want Netflix, for example? Yeah, making a la carte. Like if you're choosing your Sky or Virgin Media, your cable package.
Yeah, I mean, just you give me what I want, and I'll pay for it. Because realistically, there's no alternative at the minute. I'm not going to go back and buy physical games.
No. If I stop with Game Pass, I just stop buying games.
Yeah, exactly.
I stop Xbox and just go to Steam on the PC.
This is it. And I have to wait. And
because otherwise I've got 4 kids all with Xboxes, and they'll be like, I want this game. So I'm not just buying the game once, I have to buy it 4 times. That's just not happening. So yeah. They'll all get gaming PCs instead and use my shared Steam library.
so you and I at the moment obviously are waiting. Well, and your kids are waiting for Forza, aren't we? That's the next thing. But at the moment we're playing the most game we're playing at the moment. Actually, is a Steam game, isn't it? We're playing Grey Zone Warfare, and go from that. So it's
Battlefield 6, which isn't on Game Pass.
EA, no, it's on EA. Yeah,
it's not on Game Pass yet. We were playing 2042 before, weren't we? Which was on Game Pass via the EA add-on.
Oh, they need to do something about it. I mean, problem is I'm going to have to keep paying for it because I want the capability, but
yeah,
it's just frustrating.
It is.
All right, so let's move on then. Gosh, I can't believe we're coming back to this. So the Trump phone, it has not died. It is still there's a new design, isn't there? That's been announced by.
There's a new design. It's more vaporware, I think. So we started. Well, we had vaporware. We've had photoshopped iPhones, haven't we? We've had photoshopped Samsungs. It was delayed indefinitely. The FTC was being asked to investigate, but apparently they've now launched a new Trump mobile website and yet another redesign for the T1 phone. This is actually
They were never going to the FTC would never FTC would never going to investigate this, were they?
No, of course not. But yeah, the new design seems very much like there was one of the guys from The Verge who had an interview with two of the execs back in February, I think it was. It looks pretty close. So yes, it's still gold. It's still got an American flag on the back. They've lost the massive T1 logo. And it doesn't. There's no mention of the Made in America or what was the other one? Touched by American hands or something.
That's the one, was it? Yeah.
So I think all that really means is the Americans won't even be putting it in the box anymore. It's all going to be done in China.
Well, they originally they said it was going to final assembly in Florida.
It was made in America, wasn't it? That changed. Yeah, final assembly. Yeah. That's not the final assembly's not even happening. They've still realised that's too expensive still as well. So they've dropped the touched by American hands. But as people have pointed out, it looks very much like a modified HTC phone from 2024. But painted in gold, obviously. I mean, it's got similar specs.
We've gone from knocking off the iPhone to the Samsung,
to some Chinese make, back to a HTC, which is a Chinese make as well.
Yeah. It's ultimately be the only place they can go because it'll be the place they can get the price down to what they want.
Well, exactly.
That design.
I mean, the specs keep changing, so we're back to a 6.78-inch OLED display, which is what originally had, but then it changed to a 6.25. So anyway, it's back to the large display. You're allegedly getting a 50-megapixel main camera, a 50-megapixel 2x telephoto, 8-megapixel ultra wide, and a 50-megapixel selfie camera. A 5,000 mAh battery. Fairly slow photo while charging on it. Some unspecified Snapdragon 7 series chip. So it's very middle of the road specs. Well, no, actually, it's very bottom of the road specs and middle of the road pricing.
I'm not
still no release date though. Still no release date.
No.
And that $499 price is now just a promotional price, or it may even just be a deposit price. The website keeps changing at the moment.
A deposit for nothing.
Yeah. The £100 deposit people really paid wasn't enough money, so they're now going to ask you for $499 and still not deliver anything, I suspect.
Oh gosh, this is just a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's swing across then to the EU then, and let's have a chat about this new digital verification app that the EU have launched, haven't they? So a sovereign application.
Yes, so there's a whole, especially in the EU and the UK and around the world, starting to talk about online age verification, aren't they? For accessing adult content or content suitable for your age range, isn't there? We've implemented that in the UK. I don't think I've used any of the apps. I'm just avoiding them currently.
I would say we implemented it badly in the UK because we went with third-party applications. And everybody does their own thing because it's the lowest cost supplier, isn't it?
So if you use any of the or multiple of the major social medias, you have to give your passport or driving license to multiple third-party companies that probably aren't GDPR compliant. I don't know.
But should be, but yes,
should be. But haven't some of them already been hacked?
I believe they were. Yeah.
So the EU, though, they have announced their own app. Their age verification is technically ready, they've said. soon be available for citizens. So they've kind of gone with an anonymity. I can't say the word now.
Anonymization.
That's yes, exactly. So it's open source. The app is. It's fully open source.
It's cool.
So people can check that. But the idea being zero knowledge. So yes, you need to upload a passport or national ID. It stays. I might gather it stays local to the device. That checks it. It creates you like a QR code token that you can then use to verify against third-party sites. Those sites only basically get a yes or no that you're above whatever age they've asked for. They don't get any more information. They don't get your user details, date of birth, address, anything like that. They just get yes or no, you are above 15, 18, 21, whatever it happens to be.
I mean, it sounds simple, doesn't it? You know, and
it does.
And they base this off the COVID certificates, isn't it? Where they built, you know, we use that to allow you to
that
show
kind
that.
of
and
methodology.
We had that in the UK, didn't we? The NHS app, which again leads me to say we could do this if we wanted to. But yeah, look, this is like you say, this is simple. You download the app, you verify with your ID, use it. No personal data, no tracking, fully anonymous, and works on any mobile device, or as you're saying, and the EU has been, they've already got, I think, a few countries, France, Denmark, Greece, Spain, Cyprus, Ireland.
Well, that's for their new, because it's the same kind of technology that's also going to be used in the national digital identity wallets.
Yeah, so this is really, really good. I mean, okay, I'm sure somebody will break it and tell us there's a problem, but the fact they've gone with a standardization across the block, which again is, you can do that if you're in a block. Makes sense. You know what? And I can't understand why, as a country. Well, no, I'll take that back. I've answered my own question. I'll see yourself say anyway. We could have done that here. We could have done that. Of course, the difference is
where was the money to be made?
Thank you. We just don't. Where was the tender to go out to the bidder and somebody to make a ridiculous amount of money on a product that was third party? That's the problem here. This is good. I'm really pleased by it.
But yeah, I mean, this is a clear shot against the mouths of like TikTok, Meta, Instagram, who have all said it was too difficult to do and to keep it secure. So the EU have gone, fine, we'll do it ourselves, we'll open source it. There you go. What's your excuse now? Get on with it.
Yeah, it was very much a hold my beer moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And just proves the point that can be done. And this mobile ID thing, like like the US are quite ahead of that, with the fact you can have the IDs, the state IDs, can't you, in the Apple wallets and stuff.
Yes.
I really don't understand why we can't have that in the UK. Mobile passports, all that stuff. I don't understand.
Government. It's our government.
Because, let's be honest, that is where it's going, isn't it? But
they want to do their own one so they can monetize it.
Yeah, but
they can collect all that user information, which they can't out of the Apple wallet.
You know what? I proved the other week that I could live without my wallet. So I went to San Francisco. Yes. I forgot my wallet, didn't I? And
there was a moment of panic.
But actually, I was able to check into the hotel because my card was stored on file. I used Apple Pay everywhere. The Express Transit card that was built into the phone, which I use in London as well, worked on the BART system. So, and if I was a US citizen, I probably could have had my driving license inside the Apple ID as well to show, my age. Yes. Not that I got age checked on anything on my oh god, yeah, that reminds me. When I was in Texas last week, we were shopping in one of the grocery stores, and I bought some alcohol, not for me, but anyway, that's irrelevant. I bought some alcohol, and it flashed up on the self-serve till, like here it says, check 25 or whatever it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Customers visibly over 25, isn't that something like that? I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, their one says customers visibly over 30. Well, the guy walked over, didn't even bother looking at me, just pressed the button.
How old did you feel? Definitely over 30.
I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, right.
Okay, please just ask me for my ID.
But yeah, there you go. So, I'm well behind this. I'm very much a adopter. I know we'd have all the naysayers. I know people would be like, well, what about certain aspects of society? I appreciate that. We have to accommodate that, absolutely. But if we look at this as a general trend and a direction of movement as a populace, this is.
We should have the option. I mean, we still have cash. That's still an option. I can't remember. No, the only time I get cash out is to get my hair cut.
I don't even do that. But you know,
I don't even for washing the car anymore. They take payment. They take digital rather than cash.
Yeah, they don't want it. I have to say I actually tell a lie. One of the car washes does in town, but I'll let you work out what kind of place they're from and what kind of you know, it may not be above board from a tax perspective. But
well, I thought that about my one I go to, but they do a good job and they'll take card. Okay, I have to pay an extra 50p or something. I'm paying their card charge or whatever, but sure, that's so much easier than me going to a bank to get some money out.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, I get your point. So look, this is fantastic, and I think this is a really great idea. Well done to the EU for getting it rolled out. Obviously, I haven't seen any pictures of it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing some.
The biggest well done is you've made it fully open source.
Yes, that absolutely.
A clap for that one on that one.
Clap
at least that means the security companies can go and have a proper look at it and make it better, help make it better, point out potential issues. We know if they're telling the truth. Not me personally, I can't read code, but you know,
Claude can.
Somebody will tell me if they're telling the truth or not.
No, exactly. No, I'm well up for it. So yeah, again, round of applause. All right.
Yeah.
So it's probably time for. Gosh, there is a lot in the bucket today. So first up, then we've only just had the MacBook Neo release. It's been out a month, if that, isn't it? And it has been a roaring success, absolute roaring success, to the point where I think that Apple are struggling to keep up the numbers. I was listening to a podcast where they were saying that Apple also are running out of CPUs because they're using the binned versions of the A18.
Yes, they are the ones with the slightly faulty GPU core, isn't it?
So and they're running out of
6.
So, but Apple have they haven't said any sales numbers. But Tim Cook did say in an interview, didn't he, that it was one of the best launch weeks ever, and this means that, you know, they're starting to look forward on what the next gen Neo could look like, and it could have in it then the A19 Pro, which is, I guess, a logical jump, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you said, the A18 Pros have kind of run out, and they've been technically, I suppose, or effectively free to Apple. Otherwise, they were defective cores. They were just going to be thrown away or melted down or whatever. So they were technically free. But now we've run out of the free, and they're not producing any more A18 Pro chips, are they? The natural step is to go to the A19. So again, I expect we're going to get a binned one, slightly defective, but the big win-win here is more RAM, because it's the big thing we've said was the issue, wasn't it? Absolutely. Only 8 gig of RAM kind of limits it somewhat. You get 12 gig in the A19 Pro, so 50% increase. I think when we first talked about it, I said 12 gig would probably be the sweet spot for it. So that would be really nice. But I think the A19 also brings many other gains, doesn't it? You get not much in CPU grunt, but you get big GPU gains, improved efficiency, improved AI workload gains as well. So I think that'd be a win-win for Apple, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think this is, for me, I was like, 12 gig. Okay, I could live with that. But like I said, the battery side of it, again, not that I've heard any complaints around the Neo at all. I've seen so many people in our sphere, should we say, in our industry, people that I know who have picked up a Neo and gone, this actually has blown my expectations, you know. So I think this is a great device. Yeah, I haven't bought one yet. I've been tempted, but I'm holding off. You know, do I want to wait another 12 months for the Neo 2? Reality probably is that I probably will do. But look, this can only get better. And I think for the Mac, that kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, that kind of, you know, barrier to entry for Apple and for the MacBook has gone. You know, you're looking now at a very entry level device that has just killed off Chromebooks. Basically, it has, you know, damaged the Windows Surface sales, and in fact, Windows Surface prices have just gone up as well because of the component squeeze.
Apocalypse.
So, you know, Apple, you know, you've got to take your hat off to Apple here. They did the one thing nobody thought they'd do, and they delivered with a machine that is far more capable than many people gave it credit, really, as well, didn't they?
Yeah, for the price, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so coming up with this, so Apple, you know, we're getting into silly season with Apple, aren't we? So, you know, we're only couple of months away from WWDC, where we'll get the first look of what iOS.
Is it June or June? It's June, isn't it? WWDC.
It is in June. Yeah, so a couple of months.
June. So a month and a bit.
Gosh, yeah. Good point, because we're not far away from May, are we?
Well, we're halfway through April, so
yeah. So we'll find out about iOS 27. There'll be updates on She Should Not Be Mentioned, but there are a few things coming down the line, aren't they? You know, that we think in the next few months. Starting with then potentially 5G over satellite communication on iPhones.
But also a spanner in the works. Amazon acquired Globalstar, the Apple satellite partner. So yeah.
So Globalstar was picked up by by Amazon for $11.5 billion. But one of the parts of the deal was that the deal that they have with Apple and Globalstar was key to that acquisition. So Amazon will continue to work with Apple to drive forward. Yeah. Globalstar were banking on the revenue from Apple because they've only got a constellation of about 30-something satellites at the minute.
Okay.
This I know because I track all those constellations.
You do?
At swarmwatch.dev if you're interested. And that is, so at the moment their constellation is, I can tell you, let me find it in my list here. Globalstar, here we are. Currently they've got 31 active satellites at the moment in low Earth orbit. So they have got more planned. They've got 54 approved apparently. So they are looking to expand that. So that's expanded. So anyway, I digress. Sorry.
Yeah, but from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, though, he is reporting we should get 4 new features satellite based. So apparently, with the next iPhones, they'll have the C2 modem, which adds 5G over satellite. Basically, now cell towers use satellites for expanded coverage with much faster speeds because it's been a bit slow from what I've heard. I can't do satellite internet because I've got an older phone. It doesn't work with that one. But another big win, though, is Apple Maps via satellite.
This was quite interesting.
I mean, if you're lost and you have no cell and you need to set satellite coverage, you probably need some maps as well. So it'd be good to be able to get those without you having to download them ahead of time. Photos and messages via satellite. So currently you only get text messages, but adding the ability to send a photo might be very good especially if you're injured, you want to take a photo of it or you need help that way. So I'm sure we're going to hear that saved someone's life in one of the next Apple events, definitely.
As I say, sometimes if you think, if you were trapped somewhere, and obviously messaging's fantastic, but maybe you're not entirely sure you are, but you can see, I don't know, a landmark, or something like, say, you could take a picture of it to help it. So I think you're right. We're going to definitely hear things on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that with the be able to download maps or use maps via satellite will be very, very handy. And they're also building apparently a third-party satellite API. This will basically allow third-party developers to tap into that with their own apps.
That's what I didn't expect, given Apple isn't always quick to open up certain features, are they, to everybody else?
Yeah, I suspect there may be some charges to developers to be using this. Maybe not. I don't know. Because it seems like it could be abused. As YouTube slap in internet over satellite into their app, and gets very pricey for Apple.
I was going to say, that's the thing, because we never... Do you remember when it first launched? And not that we've ever used it, but when it first launched, it said it was free, that it was carried on being free, didn't it? And you think, so actually, hang on a minute, this is actually costing Apple a lot of money to have the service available. And
I've never actually used it.
No, I haven't. And I guess you have to ask yourself, at what price is somebody's life? And I suppose you could argue it's priceless. But Apple have made major investments into Globalstar to get everything they wanted out of it.
Yeah, and I suspect, I don't think Apple will ever charge for it. Oh, they might charge for a certain tier, but anything emergency related, they will keep free. Because you imagine the headlines: man dies, couldn't use satellite on phone, which Apple have been talking about saving people's lives for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's not going to go down very well, is it?
No, I suspect there will always be a free tier of this for basic things like maybe those map downloads, messaging, emergency services calls. Definitely. Then maybe there's a tier that's bundled in with Apple One or as a paid add-on to give you internet over 5G, for example, or more feature-rich experience.
Yeah, I think that's probably a more realistic outcome, as you say. Emergency is free, but if you want to do enhanced, it's gonna come down.
And look, Mark also says that they're working on making this more a natural usage, because at the moment, obviously, you have to point it at the sky and get it aligned, using their app. But they want to make it so, they want to make it so that basically, even if it's in your pocket or in the car, it will just work automatically.
That would be good. Definitely.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
All right then. So,
before we move on though, there was literally before we came on air, there was some news on the new iPhones.
Go on.
New colors.
Oh, I must have missed
Well,
that.
4 new colors. I'm going to argue the 2 of them are not new, and potentially the third isn't new either. But okay, so the red you want isn't very well. It's not a punchy red like the
No.
like the what do you call it? Product red.
Product
It's more
red,
of a
yeah.
deep wine-like red, more maybe burgundy purpley kind of color.
Oh, Apple, you disappoint me.
It's called dark cherry.
Of course it is.
Okay. Yep, dark cherry. There's going to be a light blue, bit like a misty blue color on the base iPhone 17, so not that new. And then the other 2 new colors are silver and dark gray, so they're not new at all. Let's be honest.
I mean, I probably will buy the one in burgundy
Deep
or
wine
purple
light
or
red.
cherry. Yeah,
Dark
I
cherry.
would have much preferred a product red because it just pops, doesn't it? That metallic red just jumps out at you to say that is a bang color.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Which surprisingly they haven't gone with that because the orange in the current phone has been so popular.
Yeah, I am because
That really bright, vibrant color.
Yeah, you'd have thought they wanted to capitalize on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially now they're going back to aluminium, so it's a lot easier to color these.
Well, somebody at Apple needs to have a word.
Jay will be very disappointed.
Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. All right then. So then let's move on to the last story of the week then, which it depends how you look at this. Either this could be the massive story, or this is a bit of hyperbole, as they say, and a little bit of news spinning. But it is apparently there's a rumor out that Nvidia is in the final stages of negotiations to buy a large PC manufacturing company, and several stocks of named players, let's say, have leapt in anticipation. But it doesn't add up, does it really?
No. So this rumor came out on the 13th, so a couple of days back from a tech site called Semi Accurate, run by Charlie Demirajan. I probably butchered that one. But yeah, he's done this bombshell saying that Nvidia are going to buy a large PC-oriented company. His words were, "This will reshape the PC and server landscape that nothing else has done since the computer was invented." I think that's a bit over the top, but sure. And he's saying that it's basically now whenever Nvidia will either commit to buy it or they will walk away. Yeah, as you mentioned, Dell shares and HP jumped by 5, 6, 7%, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a good rise, didn't they?
They've settled down, but he's not that specific on which company. Now, if you look at some of the sales, a large PC-oriented company isn't someone like Framework. It's Lenovo, HP, Dell, Asus, or Acer, really. Those are the 5 big, large PC companies. But Nvidia have shot it down with a statement to Bloomberg and Tom's Hardware saying the media report is false. Nvidia is not engaged in discussions to acquire any PC maker. Though everyone says that before they announce they bought something. That means nothing, really, does it? Yeah.
We'll not be bought, and then tomorrow it's like we'd like to announce.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. I mean, Nvidia has the money to do it. They're worth $4.7 something trillion,
and
most valuable company in the world.
Cash.
Yeah, 215.9 billion in the last fiscal year of revenue. So, and obviously we've talked about in the past, they are planning to launch the N1 and N1X ARM-based laptop chips, and hopefully full-on server and desktop chips as well. So. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could do this.
No, but then you look at the other way: is why would they? If they went and bought, let's say, Dell, they're not going to want. They don't want Dell server. Well, do they want all that crud that comes with it?
No.
Yes, you could say, well, actually, maybe if they're trying to remap the server industry, but that's not going to happen overnight, is it? The same if you bought HP. Well, it wouldn't be Lenovo. Let's say more Lenovo because HP and HPE are 2 different companies. I'd say, like Lenovo. I don't see this happening. I think there's more to this story than has been.
Yeah, maybe it's a partnership or a joint venture, or they're making a majority stake in something. But yeah, do they want all the stuff that comes with buying a whole PC company?
Yeah, and that's what I think. You're right. I think there's some probably a grain of truth in the rumor. Yeah, but I don't think that they are going to be buying a whole company to go off and manufacture PCs. Some exclusivity deal, some massive, like you said, partnership to help with packaging the NGX or whatever they're calling, those chips. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not.
Maybe it's the bigger game. If you want to buy an Nvidia GPU now, you need to buy the whole PC from them as well.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe they've done something that they've wrapped the GPUs into the motherboards or something. They come built in or something.
Oh yeah. Replace the whole lot when it's time to upgrade. More money.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? Well, we will find out as soon as more news breaks on that. We will let you know, and that's probably a good place for us to wrap up for today on our return show. It's great to be back, and hopefully you are pleased that we're back too. You can find all of our show notes on techrant.online. Of course, you still find us on Blue Sky and on x.com at Weekly Tech Rant. And we'd love to hear from you. Please, drop us a note, leave us a review. They always help. But with that, I've been Jay.
I've been Karl. Have a good day, all.